Come on, Annie. Let's go to the movies.
This is the Cinereelists, episode 687. My name is Kyle.
My name is James.
And my name is Zach.
And we're here to talk movies, movie lists, and movie obsession for the next hour or so. Happy 4th of July, guys. Everyone feeling patriotic this weekend?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
About as much as normal. I don't know. I grew up like very patriotic.
Sure.
So I still feel kind of patriotic. I don't, I know a lot more about what our country has done that I'm not super excited about, but I still like the United States and celebrate it.
That's good.
I don't know.
How do you guys feel about fireworks? Like, do you like to go to fireworks, or is it, my kids like them, so I'll go? Like, would you choose to go to fireworks if you could?
So I live in Orlando, and one thing is you don't have to choose to go to fireworks.
Okay, they come to you.
Fireworks are being launched in every direction constantly for hours. It is like one of the wonders of the world. It is an experience like, that everyone should have at one point in their life, is to be in Florida on either New Year's Eve or 4th of July. I mean, it's literally every direction you look, fireworks are going off at all times. It's incredible.
I have fireworks going off right now.
Oh, still?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a couple days before and a couple days after. It just keeps going.
Yeah. And I really can't stress enough how much fireworks there are. It is like, at any given moment, you look in maybe one of 7 directions and you'll see fireworks. And this is like constant. It's
residential area.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
unless you have a dog that doesn't like fireworks,
right,
then it's a nightmare.
That's probably not fun. Do you have a thunder blanket?
No, it doesn't help.
Okay.
The only thing that helps is me sitting on the couch and him just being able to shake his bones off.
Yeah. When I was 10 or 11, we went to Hawaii to visit friends who had moved there. And they invited us to a New Year's party at someone's house, again, in a residential neighborhood somewhere in Honolulu, I think. And at one point, all the adults were inside, like, having a party. And they just handed the kids, and we're talking like I was one of the oldest kids there, probably maybe 13 was the oldest. They just handed the kids like half a dozen grocery bags of fireworks and a lighter and said, all right, have fun outside. And the fact that none of us blew our fingers off still amazes me to this day.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we used to, in middle school and on up, we used to do all kinds of fireworks, all kinds of time of the year. And it's kind of shocking. Nobody seriously maimed themselves.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were like very irresponsible with them. we used to fire them out the windows of cars and stuff like that.
At other cars, or just as you're driving around?
No, at friends' houses.
Oh, okay. At houses instead.
It was not a good scene, but kind of shocking that nobody ever got hurt and nobody got in trouble for all that. So.
In 5th grade, I was in a play about a boy that grabbed a firework and it exploded his hand and he went blind.
Oh,
and
leader.
I played this seeing eye dog.
I remember this play. I didn't know that he went blind from a firework. All I remembered was Zach played the dog in the play.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I've always cared a lot about firework safety because of my intense involvement with the issue.
Sure.
I mean, Zach went very method for that role.
Yes.
He became registered seeing eye dog. He led me around the school for like 6 months beforehand.
Nice.
Yeah, it was weird.
You're very committed.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
I would say it's probably the most realistic portrayal I've seen of a human as a seeing eye dog ever, especially in my first 10 years of life there. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I said that's all I remember was your performance.
Yeah.
I think, you know what I want? I want like non-conservative people to just go all out for July 4th. Just dress up, wear the flag as a cape, just take it back. And even if other people who side eye you for being a weirdo. Just be like, hey, they can't have it. It's all of ours. You know what I mean?
Patriotism is not party on long party lines.
Right.
Patriotism is not partisan. That's the word I was going for.
For sure.
That should be our slogan right there.
That being said, I have one American flag t-shirt that I wear every year. And I'm sure real quote unquote patriots have a whole closet full of American, what do you call it?
Apparel.
American apparel. Yes.
Not American
closet
apparel.
full of American apparel.
Yeah. Just tiny underwear and little shorts.
Right. Exactly. What's your thoughts on patriotism, Zach? Good, bad, who cares?
Good. I mean, I think love for your country is more than just for your administration that runs the government, right? It's what your country is supposed to stand for. It's for the people. There's 340 million people in this country, and there are certain ethos that this country stands for, like freedom and liberty. And even if you don't always think that the country achieves that, I think the goal of freedom, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, a more perfect union, those kind of ideas are great ideas to celebrate.
Yeah, totally worth celebrating.
I was going to say the exact same thing, and Zach just took the words out of my mouth. So
great. Welcome to the episode, this episode of the Cinereelists. This is episode 687. We're recording this July 6th, 2 days short of July 4th. If you hadn't figured that out, happy July 6th to all.
Thank
of
you.
our,
Do you know how patriotic our family is?
I have no clue.
My wife and I got married on July 4th.
that's right.
Wait, was that because you really liked July 4th or because it was when you got married? You know what I mean? It just happened to.
It was the only date that multiple people in our wedding party could all be there at the same time.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense because they probably already had time off and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Was July 11th ever in the mix, or you're like, well, I can't do July 11th?
No, we celebrate, so we couldn't do July 11th.
All right. What happens July 11th? Why couldn't you do it on July 11th?
That's Kyle's birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You should have done it. You should have claimed his birthday.
Actually, that summer we did go. Someone Zach knows this person, knew them as Bertolin. She got married on July 11th the next week. So
somebody else.
It got claimed. Yeah. So if Zach had done the July 11th, also I'd have to choose which wedding to go to, and that would have been really tough, awkward. So
it would have been horrible for you to only have to go to one wedding.
Oh, we went to like.
Do you not like going to weddings?
Weddings are fine. I don't care.
I like weddings.
They're all the same.
Some of them are different.
In little ways, but mostly they're all the same. All the ones I've been to have felt very similar. Which it's a tradition, right? It's everybody does the same thing for a reason. It's part of the tradition. Absolutely. I did like that Zach's wedding had Moe's catering, though. You've had the best catering I've ever had at a wedding.
Oh,
thank you.
For sure.
It was tacos, right?
Yeah, it was Moe's. It was originally going to be Chipotle, but they were closed on July 4th. So we went with Moe's.
How unpatriotic of them.
I know, right?
Moe's?
This is capitalism. You just stay open on July 4th.
And this is why we boycott Chipotle now.
For sure. Once again, welcome to episode 687. Thanks for clicking play on this episode. We're going to talk a double feature of brand new movies, one new to theater, one new to streaming. We're going to talk Jurassic World Rebirth and Old Guard 2. Before we jump into all of that, I need to remind you there's a video version of this podcast on YouTube. Go check it out there and watch while you listen. Subscribe. We'd appreciate that. Also, support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Cinereelists. Get extra after show audio, amongst other Cinereelist swag for supporting the podcast. You could also leave us an Apple Podcast review. We'd appreciate that. 5 stars only. That's the rule. Also, send us an email, heyguys@cinereelist.com. REEL with an S on the end. Send a comment, a question, a list suggestion, a movie suggestion, any of those kinds of things. Send it to us via email and we will discuss it on a future episode. Links are in the description of this podcast to do any and all of those things. You guys ready to get into our double feature for this week?
I'm ready to get into it.
All right, let's do it. We're going to start with a movie that's in theaters now. It is the 7th Jurassic Park related movie. We're going to get into it right after this clip.
Mr. Work here didn't tell us everything that we need to know.
Look, this island was a laboratory of sorts. They conducted experimental work here.
What kind of experiments?
Crossbreeding of species, engineered entertainments, they call them.
Genetically altered freaks?
Any that were malformed or just too hard for anybody to look at, they left them here.
Well, that's inhuman. Why not just euthanize them?
The average cost of a created species is $72 million. What would you do? Kill it and have to tell your bank, or just carry it forward under R&D?
What would I do with mutant dinosaurs from an accounting perspective? Is that really the question?
That was Jurassic World Rebirth, a 2025 American science fiction thriller directed by Gareth Edwards and starring Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey, Rupert Friend, Manuel Garcia Rolfo, and Ed Skrein, amongst others. The official IMDb plot synopsis for Jurassic World Rebirth is 5 years post Jurassic World: Dominion 2022. An expedition braves isolated equatorial regions to extract DNA from 3 massive prehistoric creatures for a groundbreaking medical breakthrough. What did you guys think of Jurassic World Rebirth?
I have a semantics question for you first. And James, I think you would really want to talk about this because I know how you like to talk about how movies are titled.
I do.
So this is we did a whole Patreon on Fast and Furious titles.
No, I was saying I do.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right. Yeah. So we can all agree this is the 7th movie in the Jurassic Park franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But would you call this movie?
Can we?
I hope so.
I mean,
if we can't agree
No,
on that,
I'm just saying, can we?
Well, I think the most accurate would be it is the 4th movie in the Jurassic World franchise.
So
which is
that's
part
my
of the
question.
Jurassic Park universe.
That's my question. Is this movie Jurassic Park 7 or Jurassic World 4?
I think it's Jurassic World 4.
Okay.
James?
Sure. It's
Because they have
Jurassic
to make
Park
a choice.
7
Is it
and
Jurassic World or
4.
Jurassic Park?
I mean, they've clearly chosen World. It's right there in the title. So
Right.
I think if it was Jurassic Park 7, it would be Jurassic Park Rebirth.
Correct.
But
Okay, what if this movie
not
was called Jurassic Park Rebirth? Would this be then Jurassic Park 7 or Jurassic Park 4?
this would be Jurassic Park 7.
If it was Jurassic Park Rebirth, this would be Jurassic Park 4.
I agree. I think this movie is 4 either way, whether it's Jurassic World or Jurassic Park. It would be 4.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
they're afraid of this question, which is why they'll never put a number to these things.
The only way they get to a 7 is if they had called it Jurassic Universe Rebirth. They have to enlarge the territory again.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay.
What's after universe? Galaxy?
No, universe is the big. Well, so here's the. Do you want the taxonomy, James?
Okay.
Dark universe? I don't know. Go for it.
You have the solar system, right?
Right.
Then bigger than the solar system is the galaxy.
Okay.
Bigger than the galaxy is the observable universe.
Mm-hmm.
And then bigger than the observable universe is the universe.
What's bigger than universe?
You might say the metaverse, but really that's just the universe is multiple times, a number of
Okay.
times. The universe would be the largest possible thing.
So why would we jump from world to universe when there's a bunch of steps in the middle?
So you would say solar system, Jurassic solar system rebirth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Jurassic
kinda
solar
want-
system.
Jurassic Observable Universe Rebirth.
I
That
would be
would roll off the
interested
tongue.
in dinosaurs in space.
Wouldn't they just be kicking in circles in 0G? Like, I don't think it'd be that interesting.
Yeah, they'd be dead.
Yeah.
Can't even breathe.
No, they'd be in a spaceship. But
Oh, okay. I
it's
thought
like,
you meant
Yes.
not just gonna like let them go off
No,
in space.
it's like Alien, right? But they're
Yeah.
raptors.
I mean, this
they
movie
did. They
was,
made that movie. It was called 65.
and it wasn't very good.
No.
They weren't in space. They were on a planet, right? Was there any space
Right, but they weren't on
element to-
Earth. They were on some other planet.
No, they were on Earth. That's why I was
Wasn't
they
saying.
were
it-
on Earth.
Yes, that's why it was 65.
Oh,
It takes
spoiler
place
alert.
65 million years ago.
He just
I
goes
thought it
back
was
in time.
Planet 65.
No,
Oh no, I remember. He's not human. He's an
He's Earth-
alien that comes
he's
to
not an
Earth.
Earthling. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing is so silly.
I've
As
seen
an
that
agent,
movie. I don't
conceptually.
remember the plot
It's,
of it.
it's
at all.
not. It's not worth getting. It's a cool twist on paper. Like he crash lands on an Earth. There's dinosaurs or planet, but wait, it's Earth 65 million years ago, and you're like, oh, okay, that doesn't sound that interesting once you actually put it on screen.
This is what I want to see. I want to see a space colony, right? So maybe 300,000 people living in this like utopian space ring,
Mhm.
and then T-Rexes get let loose. And then eventually they're like zero gravity, jumping from ring to ring, chomping people.
Sounds
You-
amazing.
Yeah, you want like Jurassic Space Station.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Instead
I'm
of
down.
genetically modified dinosaurs.
Which we've been to this well already.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's the
with
thing. Yeah, with Indomitable Rex or whatever. We had D-Rex in this one. I don't know if like genetically modified dinosaurs, so they no longer look like dinosaurs, they just look like freaks of nature. It packs the same interest as just a big dinosaur, right? I come to my Jurassic worlds to see dinosaurs, not to see freaks of nature.
And this movie gave us, I thought, some rather decent actual dinosaur moments.
It did. It's just the big bad was a freak of nature.
No, the big bad was a letdown.
Yeah.
Probably because they put in the trailer. So
Oh, did they?
there's no mystery to what it is.
It was just weird. I mean, couldn't it just be like a way too big T-Rex? I'm fine with that. Like a King Kong sized T-Rex.
No, it has to like be a cross between Predator and Alien with extra limbs.
Yeah. What did we think about this movie?
So I maybe because I've been so nonplussed by the Jurassic World movies that have come before this, I actually, for the most part, enjoyed this movie. Definitely some issues, and some of them we're discussing already. But this one, it was nice that we were kind of like back to dinosaurs in the wild, right? This wasn't a park. This wasn't, I mean, it was a hunt, but it felt more like we're going to the dinosaurs and they just are existing now. And humans are inserting themselves into the space versus like it's a park gone wrong. It's a lab gone wrong. It's a whatever else gone wrong. And I think that's something that the Jurassic World previous movies were alluding to, especially with like the second or third one. I can't remember which one is which, but never quite got there. So this one was kind of cool to see dinosaurs back in the wild. And this one, I mean, I feel like it borrowed a lot from the original Jurassic Park, but it felt like more of a thriller than an action movie, if that makes sense. Like, again, if I think about the Jurassic World movies, and they're kind of family-friendly action movies. Yeah, there's dinosaurs and there's death and everything, but this one felt a little bit more like we're going to lean into the scariness. We're going to lean into a little bit more of the gore and kind of what the original franchise felt like versus what these movies have become. I appreciated that there's no like dinosaur expert like holding their hand out at dinosaurs or training them. Like they weren't trying to expand the world beyond that. It was just like, let's just put humans and dinosaurs on an island and see what happens. And I found that overall enjoyable.
Nice.
James, you're kind of rocking back and forth.
I don't know. These movies, these Jurassic movies, like I didn't like Dominion for sure. You know, that's the one where they got all the old cast together and they
Yeah.
combined it with the new cast, and It was
I forgot
supposedly
how
like
dumb that
the
movie
last,
was.
the last Jurassic movie, you know, type of thing. And then here we are like a few years later and they're attempting to reboot it without actually rebooting it.
They rebirthed it.
I am bored with this. I got to be honest. I'm bored with it. Like, if you asked me if I want to watch Jurassic World Rebirth again or like Jurassic Park 3, which felt like a similar movie to this one, I'll take Jurassic Park 3 any day over the goofiness that was in this movie. I cared about the characters more in 3. I've had much more time with 3, so maybe that's part of it. Also, I'm a 3 apologist, so that might be part of it too. I just like the whole plot of the movie is like at the beginning of the movie, they're like, people don't care about dinosaurs anymore. Everybody has moved on, and you know, all they're good for is mining for, you know, potential cures for cancer. You know what I mean? Like nobody cares to look at them anymore or be awed by them or whatever. And I'm like, great, movie over, done. I agree. I think we're at that point where if this is the way we're going to tell the stories from now on, like I don't care about this anymore. And there's no amount of Scarlett Johansson or swelling the head of a dinosaur that never existed that is going to make me care about this when literally the plot of your movie is that nobody cares about this anymore. It's not to say there weren't like some cheap thrills in there that were fun, but they were nothing that I couldn't imagine being in a different Jurassic movie. Like it had nothing to do. I don't know. Like, was there anything in this movie that was better than anything that you've seen in the good Jurassic movies?
I mean, no, this movie was not better than I like obviously the original and Lost World, right? Those
Sure.
are, I see that to me, those are the two like decent ones. Everything else is sort of meh. I don't think this one was better than those movies, but I thought this one was better than every other Jurassic World I mean, I think it's better than 3 and the other 3 Jurassic World movies. I'd watch this one over 3 or Jurassic World 1, 2, 3 any day.
I'll take the first Jurassic World over this any day.
Really?
Like I thought, I'm not saying that movie's good, but at least it showed like a functioning theme park, which we never got in the original series. A functioning theme park and what that looks like when it melts down. Could they have done a better job of executing those things? Probably, but at least it was different. And I wish they would have cut a bunch of stuff from those movies, like I don't know, making it about old what's his name from Guardians of the Galaxy, having him like
Owen Daniel, whatever his name is,
having them begin the neutering of raptors and you know stuff like that. Like whatever, I didn't like that type of stuff. But the idea of like kids on an island having to survive dinosaurs, that's classic. That's classic 1993 Jurassic Park. And for some reason, having a bunch of adults run around and with guns and easily get fluid from dinosaurs that don't even exist. It's like, what are we doing here? I don't know. I wasn't mad at the movie. I just am bored of these. How'd you feel, Zach?
Yeah.
You know, I kind of lean more towards Kyle on this. I liked the original Jurassic Park. I liked Lost World. The first Jurassic World I thought was worth seeing, and I liked this movie better than the rest of that I left out. I thought there was a lot of dinosaur jumping scares. You know, like it leaned on a little bit more of what Jurassic Park did with like, you know, these scary dinosaurs are after you kind of thing. When I saw the trailer, I was not looking forward to this movie at all. I think because Scarlett Johansson's character just seemed so like down to business. I just wasn't interested in that character at all. But I thought that she was a more interesting character in the actual movie. Although I will say, anytime two people sat down to have a conversation, instead of like dealing with dinosaurs, it was so boring. It like really slowed the movie down anytime two people would have some sort of conversation.
Weren't you interested in the
lot of those at
ethics
the
of the
beginning.
pharmaceutical industry?
No, but I will say Jonathan Bailey, who played Dr. Henry Loomis, you know, the professor kind of character or whatever.
Yeah.
I liked him. I thought like he's a fresh face that I was not familiar with. I thought he was perfect for the role. It was a good character. I liked the actor. I thought nothing he did annoyed me. I was happy for like character like that. Same with the bad guy, Rupert Friend, played the pharmaceutical guy. I thought he was a good actor playing a good role. Like, they weren't distracting or out of place or like gimmicky or anything like that. They were just solid tropes of like the, you know, excited professor and the evil, you know, capitalist kind of. I like that part of it. I didn't like the genetically modified dinosaur bits. Like, I just want to see dinosaurs. I don't need to see dinosaurs with like long tails or, you know, dinosaurs with strange heads, you know, those kind of things. There were a couple dinosaurs that felt like they never got to finish the animation on them. Like, do you remember when they first got to the coast? They first got to the coast and a dinosaur like eats one of them and like, goes back in the ocean.
Oh, what are the Spinosauruses?
Yeah. That one did not look good to me. That looked poor. But other dinosaurs look good. I mean, it suffered from some of the same problems that like a lot of these movies do, where like they kind of walk into a field and they're like looking around, anything here, and then the camera pans out, and now we're aware that there's 100 dinosaurs, gigantic dinosaurs in a field that they're now looking at, and they somehow didn't notice until the camera panned out that these massive dinosaurs are standing right by them. But on the whole, I liked this movie. I enjoyed myself.
Did you think those giant brontosauruses, the titanosaur, were they genetically modified with the really long tails?
Yeah.
You thought so?
Those tails were so long.
I thought any dinosaur they needed blood from was genetically modified.
Oh, I get. Well, yeah, but like the Mosasaurus is an actual dinosaur, the one in the water.
I don't know.
I will say the Megan, I saw this with Megan and Galen, and Galen really liked it, but Megan was like, well, why do you need 3 samples? Like, why is it one land, one air, one sea? Like,
yeah,
she thought
too
that
good
was
enough.
silly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for the purpose of the plot, it's why we need 3 samples, but
if you look at the poster,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Zach.
Well, just if you're already there, get 2 samples of each. You know, like don't just get 1 sample. Okay, what about the poster?
Tell
me in the Jurassic World Rebirth poster that does not look like a Rancor in the background from Star Wars.
I mean, this, I guess, spoiler alert for Jurassic World Rebirth. I thought the D-Rex looks like a Rancor.
It looked like a Rancor mated with like the queen alien.
Yes. Yep. I was surprised a second smaller mouth didn't shoot out of it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know these movies are, I know like the original Jurassic Park, right? Michael Crichton writes a book called Jurassic Park, and the book is science fiction. You know what I mean? It's not what really happened. We didn't really bring dinosaurs back to life, but I felt like that movie, like the book, treated the premise as close to this could happen as possible.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? Like this is what would happen if it happened, type of thing. And we have just gone so far astray from that starting point that I just, it's fine. That's what it is. You know what I mean? There's no changing it. We've got like 15 years now of like movies that are that far astray. And so it is what it is at this point, but it's not the first franchise that tried to pivot, because I guess they felt the squeeze that like the audiences weren't showing up for the old presentation anymore. But for some reason with a franchise like Fast and Furious, that pivot worked for me. And it is just the idea that that big, huge dinosaurs that have been extinct for millions of years is no longer a draw. So we have to make them mutants. It's just okay. I don't know. I still find I watch the originals, and even though lots of time has passed, I still feel a sense of suspense for those characters. I've seen it many times.
Yeah.
And when those characters are in the kitchen and the raptors are hunting them, still works to this day. You're telling me we can't duplicate that in 25, 30 years now? It's just, I don't know if it's a Spielberg thing or if it's I was in middle school thing or combination of all these things. I don't know. But I'm definitely missing the magic on these, especially like the last three have just been like, okay, I guess magic's gone. You'll get a couple thrills out of me, but these are never going to be special again.
I think this movie did try and recreate some of those Spielberg moments from the first Jurassic Park. I think we haven't mentioned it all. There's a family that gets involved in this. They just happen to be sailing through this forbidden zone, which is silly upon itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of get wrapped up in there. And I really didn't care about the family whatsoever. That was the least important part. They had the family there so they could put like a 9-year-old daughter in danger because you need that kid in danger aspect of these movies. And I think there was one scene where she was under a raft, which I think is from the book originally. And that was definitely trying to be like the Ford Explorer T-Rex attack in the first Jurassic Park. And there's another scene where they weren't in a kitchen. They were in a convenience store being stalked by something. And that also was going for that vibe. But like those scenes in the original Jurassic Park, there's patience, there's tension being built, right? Where you're slowly see these dinosaurs show up and then things kind of get ratcheted up from there. And I feel like with this movie and these scenes, both right away, they just kind of jumped right into the action. And there wasn't that building of tension that Steven Spielberg can do so well. So yeah, I think, James, it's the director.
Can I tell you what I really didn't like?
Yeah.
Dolores.
Who was that?
Who's Dolores?
The daughter?
The tiny little dinosaur that the daughter befriended.
Oh, I forgot about that already.
That was silly.
You just thought it was silly that there had to be a pet dinosaur in the first place?
It was just so out of place in this movie. Yeah. And it really played no role in the plot.
Yeah.
It got scared at one point.
Sure,
yeah,
but they would have been scared anyways.
It signaled that the big dinosaur was coming or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
But I agree. You could leave it out of the movie. It wouldn't have changed anything. I mean, you could leave the whole family out. The whole like boyfriend father relationship was just so. I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. It was just odd. And then the daughter like just being like, "You just don't understand, Dad," stuff like that. I was just like, "What are we doing here? Can we give us some details for me to care about instead of just like." Passive aggressive nonsense.
I did think the daughter gave a good performance. The older daughter.
Yeah.
She had to look genuinely scared at certain points, and I thought she did pull that off very well. Although she made decisions with a blow up raft that I would not have made.
Like
what is this raft made out of? Like a dinosaur is biting it and it's not popping. Come on. Very silly.
It's super material.
It's
a genetically modified raft, James. Everything on this island is genetically modified.
That was a T-Rex, right?
Yes, that was a T-Rex. Yeah.
Yes. So that was like one of my favorite scenes in the movie. And it shockingly, they didn't have to obscure the dinosaur with smoke in the dead of night. Why not do that? Just have a dinosaur chase people around for an hour and a half instead of 2.5 hours.
I did like the T-Rex's magic act though.
Okay.
Like when the raft popped up in front of the screen and then the T-Rex disappeared quickly when the raft fell over. I was like, ooh, where'd it go? Is there a trap door?
Yeah, it's very quick. Yeah.
Like, how does a T-Rex sneak away really quickly? I don't understand.
I want them to go, like, if they make another one of these, they're never going to do this, but if I wish they would. It's just like, give us an original story on an island of unsuspecting people. And no weird genetic shenanigans or mutation shenanigans, just normal dinosaurs. And like maybe make it somebody who's like disappeared, right? And their family's been looking for them for 30 years. And somehow they find out that this person actually ran away and is existing on an island of dinosaurs, and they have to like go find him or something. I don't know, something like that. Like something that's like much smaller scale.
I don't want a
like
Tarzan.
Let's pray this. You know what I mean? Like pray with predators. Let's just ditch everything we've done before and like give us a scenario that like we haven't seen before. Not a variation on all the things that we've seen before. And just get back to the roots of why people enjoyed these things to begin with. But I don't think they'll do
global
that. I don't think
warming.
it's enough spectacle.
Global warming starts melting Antarctica.
Mhm.
And dinosaurs that have been frozen alive since the time of the meteor start thawing out and start terrorizing a scientific like bubble in Antarctica.
Okay.
I'm totally for this. It sounds like something I've never seen before.
Okay, I have a pitch for you.
Okay.
It's 100 years later after this movie. People have more or less forgotten that dinosaurs exist along the equator, right? It's just but people moved on completely. It's not even like controlled anymore. A zombie outbreak or some sort of post-apocalyptic thing happens.
No,
this movie starts.
done.
Hold on. No, this movie starts with post-apocalypse. Okay. Survivors hop in a boat, right? So you think you're seeing like a zombie movie, a post-apocalyptic movie, right? They hop in a boat, they escape to the equator, they find an abandoned island that they think they're safe on now.
Mm-hmm.
Dinosaurs. So they go from one survival situation to another. It doesn't have to be zombies per se. I'm just trying to give people a reason to flee the mainlands, to flee from flee civilization.
What James is trying to do is the opposite of what you're doing, Kyle. You are adding genres to this. He's trying to strip it away back to just, can it just be dinosaurs and people? That's all we need. We don't need anything else. Just put a dinosaur and a person in the same jungle and let them
That's
fight.
what I'm doing. I'm just giving a reason for the people to be on that island.
Now it's got to be
Wasn't Jurassic Park 3
post-apocalyptic.
already that? Didn't someone like sail to the island or something like that?
Yeah.
Like we've already done the people stumbled upon the island thing. Come on, defend Jurassic Park 3, James.
No, I mean, I agree. Jurassic Park 3 has been done, and it's been done as well as it possibly can. It's a great movie. You shouldn't make that one again. But you haven't made one where like somebody's coexisting with the dinosaurs. Like not in a technological kind of way, like in a nature kind of way.
Have you guys seen Dinotopia?
No.
Have you heard of it?
I read the
No.
books. Yeah, the book. I'm
the
familiar with the
books.
I think I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
I'd be very interested in a Dinotopia movie.
There is a Dinotopia miniseries. Yeah, it's been made.
Live action or animation?
Unknown. It might be live action. But I'm not
All right.
sure.
Yeah, live action.
Okay, there. You should watch that.
I'm not sure this has the budget of a Jurassic Park movie.
Hey, you asked for a Dinotopia movie, and I delivered to you a Dinotopia movie. You want Dinotopia
miniseries.
Rebirth? Is all you're looking for?
This is poor.
Also, Rebirth. Can we just talk about the title? What
Talk about it.
so the title is meant to what? Like, okay, I understand it's meant to signal to an audience that they're starting over or they're
Right.
like a new story is happening here. But when it comes to what actually happened in the movie, the title makes no sense.
Oh,
Like,
agreed.
nothing is being rebirthed in the movie.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, there's an egg.
Yes. There's briefly
Sure.
a nest of eggs, but that's not rebirth. We're all birthed
Just a
once.
births.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
birth.
I haven't been rebirthed. Have you, Zach?
Born
I mean,
again.
People are born. Yeah. People are reborn in like the metaphorical sense. But
Okay, so you're saying rebirth does not make sense because nothing is actually being reborn.
The only thing that's being reborn is their hope for people to jump on board of this franchise again. That's
What would
the
you have
only
called it?
thing
What
being
is-
reborn.
What is the non-cynical name that this should have been called? Given you've seen the movie, you know what it is. What non-cynical, please?
Jurassic World 4.
no.
No subtitle?
Maybe, but certainly not Rebirth. Has nothing to do with anything. How about Jurassic World Mutant Mayhem?
Yeah.
Jurassic World Toxic Avenger.
No, it would be like, Jurassic World The Last Island or something like that.
I'd be fine with that. I mean, it's awful, but it's not as bad as Rebirth.
One
Jurassic
awful, thank
World.
you.
How many islands do we have?
Here's one thing that troubled me. This island, right? We got lots of nice vistas of the island, like some views of the island. And literally, this is the prettiest place on Earth. And like, it would be super famous just for being pretty, just like you've seen the same photos of like Indonesia, like it's like there at one point it has these like circular overhangs that are like just gorgeous, or this like one area with like 1 million waterfalls. I'm like, this would be as famous as Bora Bora, but no, it's just a tiny
It has
little
an
nothing
Aztec
island.
temple carved into the side of a mountain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so fancy. But this,
With
I will
stairs,
say,
by the
I
way, which is great.
appreciate this much more than if they went the direction of like, let's go inside the Earth and there's a whole like other world in the core of the Earth, like the Godzilla movies do. You know what I mean? Like, at least it's still on Earth. Remember
It's
how the
still on the
Godzilla movie?
observable Earth.
No, not Godzilla. The King Kong movies. The King Kong movies like go below the Earth's crust, and it's another world down there.
Yeah, the
That's
new
scary.
ones are practically animated movies that take
Yeah.
place under the Earth. Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree that would be different. It's not exactly what I'm looking for in my Jurassic movies.
Isn't
I
that
feel
Journey
like.
to the
That's what I'm
Center of the
saying.
Earth?
I don't want
they-
that.
Yeah. They find
Yeah.
dinosaurs down there.
Yeah,
right?
they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want that either. I did like that they didn't have guns. There was no guns.
There's a handgun.
Yeah, but I mean, in general, they didn't have these futuristic laser weapons that they're fighting dinosaurs with. They mostly didn't have guns.
No, one guy had a gun. He was awful with it, and he didn't last very long
Right.
in the movie. Yeah.
Sure. But like, for the most part, they weren't fighting dinosaurs with guns.
No, right. It wasn't like a military attachment. It was definitely
Exactly.
a reconnaissance mission.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
guys care about any character in this movie?
I kind of agree with Zach. I thought the scientist was the most interesting because he actually cared about dinosaurs. He seemed genuinely excited to see one.
Did you care about the like romantic connection they tried to play?
No,
off
not
between
at all.
Scarlett Johansson and that guy.
Not
I
at
was
all.
just like, what are we doing?
My wife said she liked the romance in the movie, and I was like, "Who was the romance between?" I didn't know. I didn't catch it.
Mahershala
it's-
Ali in his boat.
It's really mild, and it's a lot of like cat and mouse without any actual ending to it. But I feel like they were trying to build tension between those two characters, and I was just like, okay, this is
It was light flirting.
yeah.
Was $10 million? That was the price offered to Scarlett Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Fair price? I think that probably was a fair price.
I think she's definitely the biggest name in this movie.
No,
And,
No.
he's-
No.
No,
No.
he's
James, no,
talking
no.
about
Oh,
the
you mean
plot.
the actual amount of money they offered her character?
The
yes,
character, yeah.
not her fee.
Didn't she negotiate it up to 20?
20, yes.
Yeah.
Which
Spoiler
I thought
alert.
was a little high.
He
He agreed to it because he wasn't going to pay her anyway.
No, yeah, I say fleece these guys. Like they're about to make billions of dollars.
He said
off this
trillions.
patent. That's right, trillions. So yeah, they can afford $20 million.
What was the deal? Like, if we get the genetics from these large animals, we'll be able to cure heart disease?
Mhm.
Yes,
Just because?
because
No-
they have
no
large hearts,
explanation.
and those large animals lived for 100 years. So
Yeah, but
vis-a-vis,
would the
we
medicine
can
give
then-
humans hearts that big? Or, I mean,
I don't think the
he
movie.
even said this animal could live up to 100 years. Well, humans could already live up to 100 years with
Mhm.
normal size hearts.
Right, but most large animals don't live that long. Right, like elephants don't live to 100 years old.
Okay.
So I don't know why I'm defending the movie right now. To be
So is the
completely
idea
honest.
that they lived elephants, an African elephant lives 70 years.
Yeah, only 70. That is that is shorter, just a smidge shorter than the average human lifespan. So actually, what we need to be doing, guys, is extracting elephant DNA.
The oldest elephant alive is estimated to be 105 years old.
Yeah, that's not even as old as that's an estimation. That's not even close to the oldest human ever.
He was born in 1917.
Yeah, there's bad record keeping back then.
I don't get it. All right. 5 stars.
All right, 5 stars from Zach. Yeah, 5 stars for me.
5 star. Are you guys serious? You
No.
can't possibly be serious. Okay, good. I was questioning my own sanity if you guys gave this movie 5 stars.
No, but I will give it
Um,
3.5. I did like this movie.
Okay.
I think I'm a solid 3. It could be 3.5 someday, but we're gonna take a 3 for right now.
You
I
got to
also
follow
gave it
the
a 3.
gladiator rule. You got to follow the gladiator rule.
What is that?
Were you not entertained?
I was entertained at times, and other times I was daydreaming about what could be and how much this movie was not delivering my daydreams. And maybe that's harsh to judge it for what it's not, but for what it is, it's nothing. It feels very much like it wanted to be 3, Jurassic Park 3.
Okay.
And it didn't raise to that bar. And for me, that's a high bar. For other people, maybe that's a low bar. But I think history will show that people will compare this movie to that movie often, and people will prefer 3. Feels like very similar movies.
I think it's adorable that you think people are talking about Jurassic Park 3 still, James.
They
James,
do.
Jurassic Park
We are.
3 is my least favorite Jurassic Park movie.
That's fine.
What's
Give it
everyone's
20,
least favorite?
give it 20
Jurassic Park?
years, and you'll be like, well,
It's
3's
had
better.
20
3's
years.
better than a
It's
Rebirth.
been 20 years.
No, give it another 20.
I'm not going to wait till I'm in my mid 60s to reassess the Jurassic Park.
No.
Third
When you're in
By
your
the
mid
time you're
60s, then
80.
James will say, give it another 20.
Exactly.
By the time you're 80, it's going to be a stone cold classic.
James will be on his deathbed. So watch it again.
Like, do you think critical
I-
consensus will have swung around and Jurassic Park 3 is the best of the Jurassic Park films? Has that
No.
ever happened where things have been reevaluated that much that like the one in a franchise that was critically acclaimed is now the black sheep?
I mean, I think you're seeing a reassessment of the Star Wars prequels. I'm not saying that people are saying that they're better than the original trilogy, but things do.
You
get
are not
reassessed.
seeing a you are not seeing a reassessment of the prequels. You are seeing people
We're
that
not.
were kids when they saw the prequels becoming adults and in positions where they can opine.
Nostalgic.
And people like
Okay.
what they saw when they're kids.
So you're saying it's in this, James said, the nostalgia boom.
I think so. I think the people that didn't like it then still don't like it. They just are being slowly outnumbered by people that grew up with it.
Well, hold on. I definitely have a different opinion of the prequels, at least 1 and 3, than I did 20 years ago, like in the mid-aughts. I was totally out on all 3 in the mid-aughts, and over time, I've rewatched all of them a couple times, and I will say that there are things to like in episode 1, and there are even more things to like in episode 3. Episode 2, still straight garbage.
Yeah.
But 1 and 3, I think I've changed my opinion on. Not 100%, but I've definitely softened on them.
What happens in 2? What is like the main thrust of 2?
It's the Clone Wars thing. It's got the scene at the scene that everybody remembers is Yoda jumping around like a jackrabbit with his lightsaber. And what's his name? R2D2 can fly for some reason.
Oh, that's right. The
2.
jetpacks. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of other very cartoony goofiness. There's also a scene where Padme is like going through a factory that's forging something. So she's like jumping from pedestal to pedestal over lava, and it's so clearly green screen. I mean, it is very close to like Temple of the whatever it was called. Remember that old Nickelodeon show?
Oh,
Yeah.
Temple of the Hidden Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Legend of the Hidden Temple. Yeah. It looks very much like that. It was bad.
Doesn't 2 also have like the arena fight with the monsters in the sand pit?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No, 2's the weakest one.
But like in episode 1, the what do you call it? In the desert, the race, pod racing. Pretty good. Like that's a staple of Star Wars at this point, pod racing. I like it. Anyway, I don't remember if I heard this on a podcast or if I read it in an article, but I thought it was interesting about how movies, right? When we were growing up, you could watch a quote unquote old movie, meaning like it's the mid 80s, maybe the late 80s, for you guys, late 80s probably. And you're watching a movie from like the 60s or 70s, and it was very clear this was an old movie.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like the looks, how people dressed, just the quality of the presentation, very different than what was coming out in the late 80s. At what point do you think movies got, and maybe it hasn't gotten there yet, but at what point do you think movies got to the place where younger people can watch them and not get the feeling that it's really old? Like can a young person watch Fight Club today and not like that movie's 25 years old, 26 years old. If I was watching a movie in the early 90s that was 25, 26 years old, I'd know it immediately just by how it looks and the pacing of it and those things.
Yeah.
But I feel like at some point movies got so good and the quality got so good and like maybe style hasn't changed enough that like people would immediately clock like this is dated. I don't know.
You know, I would say, I'm speaking from my experience, and maybe this is not quite what you're getting at. Like my son can watch movies from the 80s, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
He recognizes that they're from the 80s, but like to him, it's not like, oh, here's this old movie I have to watch.
Sure.
So I mean, like maybe at that point, filmmaking became modern enough or mainstream enough where you're not feel like you're watching something from a different era.
I think.
Yeah. Go ahead. Zach.
Yeah, 80s and 90s are definitely watchable, but I think in the 90s there's still, you can tell it's different, right? The hairstyles and the fashion's different enough, the sensibility's different enough. Once you hit the 2000s, maybe late 2000s, I think you're right, James. It all kind of blends together.
Yeah. Like if you watch original Jurassic Park right now, do you think people clock that like that movie's 35 years old?
No, I think that movie does really well, actually.
Yeah.
Like even the Jeeps in that movie are still on the road today. They still sell those Jeeps.
Right. And no one's wearing anything super 90s in that movie. Like maybe Ian Malcolm is the most 90s dress character of them all.
Sure. With his like black, button down
Right.
shirt type of thing and shiny pants.
Or the lawyer with his double-breasted suit.
Yeah. Although double-breasted suits are still a thing.
They
Maybe
still
they're not
are.
the most popular, but they're still around for sure. All right. I guess we gave Jurassic World Rebirth a 3.5 and 2 3s. Is that where we landed?
I'm going to
Yeah.
bump it to 3.5 because I just feel like Zach and I were more on the same wavelength than James. So
Okay.
Yes.
I will leave James on his island, and I will say 3.5.
2 3.5s and a 3 for Jurassic World Rebirth. We watched another movie this week. This one was direct to streaming on Netflix. It's called Old Guard 2 Electric Boogaloo. We'll be right back with chat on that right after this clip.
I remember the woman I gave that necklace to long time ago. And you're not her.
That was The Old Guard 2, a
Thank you for adding
2025.
the correct title.
You're welcome. 2025 American superhero film, according to Wikipedia. Directed by Victoria Mahoney and starring Charlize Theron, Kiki Lane, Matthias Schoenaerts, Marwan Kenzari, Luca Marinelli, Veronica Ngo, Henry Golding, Uma Thurman, and Chiwetel Ejiofor. The IMDb plot synopsis for The Old Guard 2 is Andy leads immortal warriors against a powerful enemy threatening their group. They grapple with the resurfacing of a long-lost immortal, complicating their mission to safeguard humanity. Oh, that felt like a word salad for some reason. Okay. For those that haven't seen The Old Guard, Kyle, can you just give us a basis for like how the story
Sure.
leads into this movie?
Yeah. So The Old Guard is another Netflix movie, and it's about a group of immortal warriors led by Charlize Theron. These warriors are hundreds, if not thousands of years old, and they've been sort of meddling in the affairs of man for their entire existence.
Mhm.
In The Old Guard, they discover a new member played by Kiki Lane, who seems to also have immortal powers. And they're also being hunted by a pharma bro who wants to harness their immortality into a pharmaceutical. And that's sort of the main plot of the movie. There's also a side story about one immortal that was like 500 years ago was accused of being a witch, was locked in an iron coffin by humans, thrown in the water, destined to awake, drown, and die for eternity.
Mhm.
And that's sort of where this movie picks up.
And is the you can lose your immortality at some point? It just goes away. Was that in the original movie?
Yes, right. Immortality was not forever. At some point, you could become mortal.
Right, but they didn't know when it would happen or why it would happen.
Yeah.
It just
Right, exactly.
sometimes happened.
It just happens over time. Exactly.
So you're immortal until you're not.
Right. And I believe at the end of The Old Guard, Charlize Theron realized she's no longer immortal.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
And they have like healing powers like Wolverine, right? So like it's not just if they die, they'll come back. They like will like heal actively quickly.
Yeah, correct. I in this movie, they made a joke where someone's head got blown off and they had to find the head and bring it back to the body, and
Put it back together.
It all came back together. Yeah, they kind of like had some Deadpool ability there or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that was the first movie. Now we're 2025. It was a relative hit on streaming, it seems. They made a sequel, and we saw the sequel. And in this sequel, what happens in this movie?
Well, in this movie, we pick up with Andy and Kiki Lane and her team,
Mhm.
and they're kind of just so the previous movie alluded to the fact that these immortals have unknowingly affected human history.
Mhm.
Right. And the Chiwetel Ejiofor, who plays, I think, a CIA agent or whatever, he was like, oh yeah, you save this person, and then their grandson is Martin Luther King Jr. So whatever. Right. So there's kind of this illusion that they are affecting history. And you kind of got the impression that this movie was going to explore that, of like, how are they, what's their greater purpose? This movie starts with like a heist, I believe. I'm not going to lie, guys. This movie was boring. I'm just going to come on and say it. So I'm going to try my best to recap it. But
All right.
I had trouble staying awake during this movie.
I feel like you're the biggest Old Guard fan we have on this podcast.
Oh, I really liked The Old Guard. The first one I thought was a cool action movie. It was a interesting idea about like these immortal warriors. There were some flashbacks in the first movie to like when Charlize Theron's character was like a Greek warrior. I thought that was super cool. Like I almost wanted more of like the Old Guard history.
Mhm.
So I was a fan of The Old Guard. I think you guys are kind of maybe tepid on it, correct?
I was tepid.
Okay.
I was fine with it. I mean, it definitely wasn't my favorite movie of the year, but as far as like streaming offerings go, it was a fun waste of time. Yeah. And I actually liked, I wouldn't call them superheroes. I don't know why Wikipedia calls it a superhero movie. But I didn't get the feeling that they were superheroes. They're just immortals.
They have
Like, that's
superpowers
different.
of immortality, but I mean that's
to
not
me,
natural. They're
superheroes have their own powers. This is just a group of people that all have the ability to not die.
Can we call them supernatural then?
That's fine. It's
Okay.
it's just not a superhero.
James,
Like,
let me
superheroes
explore that.
have
To be a
separate
superhero,
powers.
you have to have a unique power. Is that what you mean?
Not necessarily have to. It's just traditionally, superheroes don't all. If you have a world of superheroes, everybody in that world doesn't all have the same power. That's just an ability that some people have that other people don't have. You know what I mean? Like
So for you, superheroes are a collection of supernatural people.
like name an instance where superheroes all have the exact same power, no more, no less.
Thunderbolts.
They have the same power.
Yeah, they're all genetically modified. They all have the serum. It's a bunch of Captain Americas running around.
Maybe, but they don't even all have that. Some of them don't have that, right?
Yeah, some of them aren't superheroes. Some of them are just heroes.
Yeah, exactly.
Same in this movie. Some of them don't have immortality
Sure,
until they do.
I guess, but they also have it until they don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody gets immortality in this movie unless they already had it.
If they can't find their head or can't find their thumb, they just don't have it anymore.
I would assume
Yeah.
so, because I mean, we see someone like put their thumb back on.
So wouldn't you just blow these people up?
Yeah, right. Because they are surprisingly unmaimed for being thousands of years old.
Yeah. Just blow them up. Just if you're gonna fight them, a bomb. Easy.
Now I'm really going to defend the world of the Old Guard. They're unknown. They're unknown to the rest of the world. Like in the Old Guard, this farmer bro figures out that there's immortal people. So it's not
Okay.
like they don't live out in the open as immortal.
Okay.
So I'm guessing if you are going against them, you don't realize that these are immortal fighters.
So no one has studied their weaknesses and know how to get them. Although I would think that Uma Thurman would blow them up.
Oh, but she seems to have a different purpose with them because she wasn't trying to kill them. She was vacuum sealing them.
Well, she could blow them into a million pieces and then take one of the pieces and take its immortality from it.
I mean, here's the thing. We don't know. This movie is not good. I think we can all agree, right?
I agree. It's not good.
We don't really know what Uma Thurman's motivation is, right? We know that she's one of them that we didn't forget to mention the last movie. Huh?
She was the first one, I think.
Well, maybe she was. Yes, maybe she was the first one.
She's the first immortal.
Right. She seems to have a vendetta against humanity, but we don't know why that involves the rest of the immortals. We know that Kiki Lane is like the uber immortal. She's the omega immortal. And just being around her makes you lose your power, apparently. But that's
I think if she injures you.
If she injures you.
If you're the last person to get injured by her.
Then you lose your... Okay.
That's the vibe I got.
Okay. Again, I was nodding off through a good chunk of this movie, so I'm not gonna... Yeah. You also, this enters the world where immortals can pass their ability to other people if they want to, just by like looking at them. They just make a conscious decision, like, now you have it. And then that wasn't very well explored. Like this movie is... I
don't think that was in the movie. Zach, did you catch that?
He's talking about when the one guy gave Charlize Theron back her immortality.
Like, yeah, because whoever most recently got injured by the last immortal loses their immortality. So if you were previously the last person injured, you get it back.
No, I agree. No. There was something about being able to give your immortality to a willing person or something.
Right. Like Henry Golding had this conversation with him, like, you can give it to her. And like he walks in a room with her, he looks at her as Charlize Theron. She said, like, everything okay? He goes, yeah. And I'm like, that was it? You just like make eye contact?
Because Uma Thurman was saying she's going to have all the immortals give them their immortality.
That's right. Right. That's why she was stealing them. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so this Old Guard ends on this kind of cliffhanger where the immortal we learned about, who was thrown in the iron coffin and was drowning at the bottom of the sea for 500 years. She has a stinger scene where she pops up. Her name's Quinn. And she pops up and she sees one of them, and you're like, oh, like, okay, this is interesting. I thought that was going to be an interesting take of like, yeah, what happens to a person who, right, they're still a human, they're immortal. Like, what if you do die and revive and drown for 500 years? Like, what does that do to you mentally? And what kind of like supervillain would you become? And she's not the supervillain. And that seems like the perfect setup for your antagonist. And they kind of make her half the antagonist, but then she decides, I'm not going to be that person anymore.
I think one of two things would definitely happen. Either you have a complete psychotic break where you just cannot form thoughts anymore, or your body heals any mental pain and you have no mental effects whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah, I don't.
It's one or the other.
So either you're fine or you're complete wreck. There's no in between.
Just completely applesauce inside.
Okay.
Also, this is spoilers for Old Guard too. So if you want to stay 100% spoiler free, maybe stop listening from here. But I too would have been mad at what's her name for leaving me at the bottom of the ocean.
Charlize.
It did not seem that hard to find her when Uma Thurman's character wanted to find her. And it seems like, okay, 500 years ago, maybe you don't have the technology to find the exact location, but like in the last 50 years, the technology has started to exist. And
totally agree.
We found the Titanic.
Right. And like, whatever her name is, Charlize Theron's character was like, whatever. Old news.
She said she searched for centuries, which number one, I don't believe. I don't believe she spent 300 years searching the bottom of the ocean 1,000 years ago.
500
How?
years ago.
Yeah, whatever. And then, yes, for the last 50 years, obviously she could be a trillionaire by now, right? And so she would have the funds to do this. She basically just gave up on her friend, even though she knows she's down there still. She could absolutely find her.
Yeah. So it felt like they didn't want to answer that question. So they just never, like, the one character poses it for like a second, and then they let Charlize's character, which has maybe the dumbest name of any character I've ever seen in a movie, which it might be like a proper, I don't know, Andromache, I think is what they were calling her.
Yeah, that's a real name.
That's a Greek name. Yeah.
It's fine. It's so weird to see modern people say the name Andromache while they're holding a gun and stuff.
Dumber than the name Discord.
No, that was dumb.
that was the dumbest name.
So she goes by many. They actually said the line. She goes by many names, but now she's known as Discord.
I was like, oh, so I can chat over her?
Oh my goodness. Is Discord part of the original comic? Is that why?
Oh, there's a comic related to this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is based on the comic. Yeah.
I also wouldn't name a character Tua. I mean, it's just that the Hawk Tua, like that happened like a year ago.
Yeah, but
you know
no
what I mean?
one remembers Hawk Tua. That's not
the moment I heard them say Tua out loud, that's immediately what I thought about.
I didn't think of that.
Maybe
once,
that's just me.
Yeah,
that's just me. But
it
I was
may
like,
just be you.
No, it's if it was. You're saying I am the only person on the planet that had this reaction.
No,
you're the only person on this
person.
podcast.
That's fine. If 1 out of 3 people is watching your movie and you say a character's name and they immediately think of a crass joke on the internet, then maybe you might want to consider renaming your character. Because that character was a new character. You could have renamed him. It wouldn't have been a big deal. Both the new characters have stupid names, in my opinion.
It's spelled Tuah. It's not even, it's exactly the same.
That's how they spell it when they type it in reference to the other thing.
I know. I will admit, a week ago, I just randomly thought, like, wonder what a Hawk Tua girl. What happened to her?
You know what his full name is? Hang Tua.
Like Hang
It's
Ted.
So close. I don't know. What is she doing now? She has a hit podcast now.
Does she have a hit podcast, or is she broken?
No. Didn't she
she's made a ton of money.
No. She did a meme coin rug pull. Yeah. And then she hasn't done a podcast since.
No, I believe it's back.
Did she
Isn't she go in jail for that?
No,
nobody goes to jail for meme coins.
No one goes to jail anymore, Zach.
You'd have to throw the literal president of the United States in jail right now if you were throwing people in jail for that.
He hasn't done a rug pull yet.
Yeah, they did a Trump coin.
No, he has a meme coin, but he hasn't rug pulled it yet. It's still there.
He has rug pulled it as much as Hawk Tua girl.
No, he hasn't.
Rug pulled.
No. They rug pulled like 90% of it.
Right. But I'm saying like her culpability is at the level of his culpability.
No, except
like
he hasn't done anything wrong yet.
But he's not the investor that sold, but everybody around him got rich off of his meme coin. And that's what happened to her too. Like she got paid to promote the coin, but she didn't immediately sell at the height, which is where the rug pull comes into place.
Yeah, I don't think Trump coin has been rug pulled yet.
I mean, pretty much any meme coin does this and then immediately crashes. And sometimes the crash isn't all the way to the pit, but it's pretty close. And then they slowly gain a little more back, but it's going to take, at the current rates, decades, if not much longer, to get back to the peak. That's where the rug pull comes in. If anybody tells you a meme coin is not going to get rug pulled, they're the rug pull.
No. James, believe me, I understand. I'm just saying it'll happen eventually. I just don't think it's happened yet.
We'd have to pull up his chart.
Right.
Okay, Zach, what did you think of the Old Guard 2?
Man, it was so dumb. Not even the action scenes weren't exciting. They were just like fine. Although I didn't catch any headbutts, so I was excited about that.
There was a headbutt. I saw it and I thought of you immediately.
I'm
but I was
glad
also like,
missed
well,
it.
he's also immortal, so it's fine. He could headbutt.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It seems so pointless. I did think Uma's character was great.
Discord?
Not the character, her actor. Her acting was great. She played the role well, I thought, as Discord.
Barely in the movie.
Sure. Well, I'm just finding good things about it.
Okay. It really bothered me that this movie was another one of these cases of like, we're gonna give you half a movie. I think we've seen a lot of that in the last 5 years with like Fast X and with, I mean, Dune so much, but at least Dune gave you a complete story. Like this movie really felt like half a story. And then they said, and check in next time to find for the exciting conclusion of Old Guard 2. And I don't even think Old Guard 3 has been greenlit. So there's a very strong chance that this might just be it.
So you felt that they hung the story on this one? Like they're teasing a third? I didn't get that.
Well, yeah. I mean, this movie ends with, okay, since we're in the spoiler section, this movie ends, Uma Thurman's still at large. The rest of the team has been vacuum sealed and stolen by her. And then Charlize Theron and the girl who's been drowned for 500 years, who's now cool with her, decide to go off and find her. And then cut to credits. I mean, if that's not a cliffhanger, find out what happens next time ending, I don't know what is. Like, this movie has no third act. I mean, it has a third act, but it has no resolution to the story. We don't learn why Kiki Lane is the Omega Immortal. We don't learn about this whole idea of like they've been affecting world history, which has been dropped completely. You know, we don't know why Quinn seems to be fine with Charlize Theron all of a sudden. It's just things happen and we just move on to the next movie. So yeah, I found this movie have a ton of dangling threads that I'm not excited for.
I didn't catch all those on my first watch, and I guess I'll never catch them because I will never watch this again. I don't know. This is another, like, my rating is not going to be all that dissimilar to Jurassic World Rebirth, because while I was watching it, was I moderately entertained? Sure. I mean, there is much worse direct to streaming material out there for sure. Like, I think the action is adequate. The performances are adequate. The storyline interesting enough. I didn't hate my time with the movie, but also, like, I'm never going to think about this again until people start talking about Old Guard 3.
Which I'm
if
sure
that ever happens.
Right.
Maybe I'm grading a bit on a curve here just because I enjoy the first Old Guard movie. I found this to be such a step down in quality.
Yeah, I think the first one had the benefit of, like, you discovering the mechanics of, like, the power, and you know what I mean, like how these people interact with each other versus, like, you know, their immortality, and the idea that they've lived for so long and what their motivations are. All that stuff explored in the first one. In this one, I'm sure it's in there. I just couldn't care to watch it.
No,
also, I think the first one got the, like, pandemic bump. I mean, that was like July of 2020.
Yeah, great point.
That movie came out, and
yeah.
We thought maybe we'd never see another movie in a movie theater again. You know what I mean? And then Old Guard came by, and it was like, thank you, Netflix. We were so, like, content starved. And I'm not saying it wasn't a better movie. I think it was definitely a better movie than The Old Guard 2, but I think we gave it some slack. I was looking at that episode, and in that same episode, we talked Palm Springs. Now, there's a movie.
Oh, yeah.
That was good. That absolutely I wish had gotten a theatrical release. That was direct to streaming. And I feel like that movie, if given, like, a proper release cycle, would have more conversation in circles, I would say.
The zeitgeist,
than what it currently gets, because I think that one's worth talking about more than The Old Guard. Or part 2.
This movie, Old Guard 2, sat on the shelf for 3 years. It was completed in 2022.
Old Guard 2
Oh, really?
sat for 3 years?
3 years.
Why?
Wow.
I didn't fully find an explanation for the why.
Oh, that's great. And then they released it in the middle of summer?
In the middle of 2025. I really feel like we're not getting Old Guard 3. I think this is it. I would be shocked if they made a third one.
There was when I was watching it too, there were like a couple scenes with Charlize. She was fine in it, but there were a couple times where she would say dialogue where I'm like, man, that dialogue is not. I don't know what I don't even remember the lines, but I was just like, this is very beneath Charlize Theron. and then in that moment I thought, man, just give us another Atomic Blonde. Like she's got a bunch of movies in her background that like I don't know, or like put her in the John Wick franchise or something.
She'd be a cool addition. Well, she's already the Fast and Furious franchise.
Sure.
So
just keep putting her in things that I already like.
All right, yeah. Here's what Wikipedia according for Old Guard 2. Principal photography began in June 2022 in Italy. So we're talking like a year after Old Guard, they start making number 2.
Mm-hmm.
In August of 2022, the film set caught fire while it was being dismantled, causing production delay. Additional filming took place in the UK. Filming was completed in September 2022.
Interesting.
And then it just sat for 3 years of post-production.
I mean, I can't imagine why the post-production on that would take 3 years other than people slow rolling it.
Right. People being like, oh, this isn't good. Like, let's not put our resources on this one.
Yeah. Or they just finished it and they just held it. Just never took it out of post.
Yep.
All right. Anything else to say about The Old Guard 2? I do like the title.
It's very clear where it comes in the timeline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I gave it a 2.5.
This one could have been called Old Guard Rebirth.
I agree. I was thinking the same thing.
Sure.
I gave The Old Guard Rebirth 2 stars.
I gave it 1.5.
All right. 1.5, a 2, a 2.5 for The Old Guard 2. Thank you for joining us for this episode 687 of the Cinereelists. We appreciate your listenership. Don't forget, there's a video version of this podcast on YouTube. Go check it out. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Cinereelists. Leave us an Apple Podcast review or send us an email to heyguys@cinereelists.com. Links in the description to do any and all of those things. You can also follow us on social media on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok @Cinereelists, or you could follow me on my personal Blue Sky or Letterboxd account @YoJRB.
You follow me on Twitter or Letterboxd @Shaubin.
You can find me on Letterboxd @PeterSKB.
Next week, we will most likely be discussing Superman, James Gunn's latest DC Universe movie. Any pre-watch thoughts on Superman?
This is one of those movies where I've seen the trailer so many times and so many different trailers that I'm hoping there'll be things to surprise me.
I saw the teaser and then I saw a scene where like Superman is like going to leave his dog at home and then some robots cracked a joke and I was like, what is this? I don't know. It didn't look like a Superman I'm going to enjoy. But I do like James Gunn.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping there's something there that I'm missing in the actual movie, but we'll see.
The trailers I've seen, or the teaser is much, I think, more James Gunny with the jokes and the robots and everything. The trailers I've seen are pretty straightforward, epic action.
Okay.
The scores soaring in the background, all that kind of. No one's cracking jokes or anything like that.
Sure.
So I'm not sure what that says for the movie. If they're trying to lean away from the jokiness of it, I have no idea.
You do have the teeth clinking against the camera and stuff.
The
teeth clink against the camera?
He punches a guy and knocks out 2 of his teeth, and then the teeth clink against the glass of the camera filming it.
In the trailer?
Weird.
Yeah.
I've not seen. Okay, wait. So it's like fourth wall break, like
Yeah.
like we get blood splatter on the camera.
No, you just hear ding ding as it hits the glass.
Weird.
Of the fourth wall movie camera. That's not being filmed by
Yeah.
like a
Right,
bystander.
of the camera filming the scene.
Why is Superman punching
bounces
people's
off.
teeth out? I don't want to see that.
You
That's
wanna see
what he
him punch
does. He
people in the
punches their teeth out.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I just don't. Is he gonna like break people's necks like Snyder had him doing too? Stuff
doubt
like that.
Just snapping necks left and right.
Yeah, it's not Superman in my opinion, but I'm a purist clearly. Honestly, I don't care, but I just want to be entertained, and I don't want it to be bad. I definitely don't want it to be Snyder. I'm so over all the Snyder DC stuff. It was like the worst version of those movies are the ones that he made, in my opinion. All right. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, keep it cinereal.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.